Okay, when you first install that plugin for the Tessellation option, that software that we downloaded via the links I've sent, you'll probably get a registration window that pops up just like this, and it'll ask you for a serial number and who it's registered to. Currently, if you'll just click later, it'll let you launch Illustrator without a problem, and it'll actually just work just fine. So let's go ahead and set up our document. We'll just go to File, New in Illustrator, and we'll give this a name. We'll call it Tess. Number of artboards we'll set to 1. Just make sure your width is set to 11 inches. Your height is set to 11 inches. Make sure over here it says units. Make sure that's set to inches. Color mode, CMYK is fine. And we'll just click OK. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to work with this tessellation tool. And what you'll do is you'll actually create a line based loosely on the sample image that you actually created today in class. Let's bring up the Tessella window. So we'll just go to Window, and you should notice in the list here that we should have a Tessella option if your plugin is installed. And we'll just set this to the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose the pencil tool. And the pencil tool is basically will allow us to draw some kind of curvy line like this. Maybe that's in the shape or contour of one of the items that you've drawn. What's cool with this Tessella plugin is that we can actually create a tile from paths. And you'll notice that we have lots of different options. We've got various single tiles, rotational, glides, mirrors, and mixed. You might just experiment with these to see what you get. So I'm going to try a parallelogram, and I'm going to click From Paths, and you'll notice that it made the various Tessella shape. Now, of course, if I use the Move tool to select this item, what's nice about that is I can actually go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste, and now I've got a mirror image of that particular shape that I've created that will interlock with the previous, as you can see here. And one of the cool things about this little plugin is that I can work with curved lines as I did with the pencil, or I can create a complex shape with the pen tool, where basically I'm just clicking and creating points as I'm doing here. And if I select that with the selection tool, that's the black arrow in our toolbox. Let's try a threefold rotation from paths, and you'll notice that I've now created this shape in Illustrator. Now to scale something, if you guys recall, you basically just shift click the corner, so hold down the shift key and then click that. And what's cool is we can actually create what's called a lattice group. If I click OK, you'll notice now we have a group of items that's starting to create a lattice. And I can also replicate this lattice across the page. And if I click OK, you'll notice that I have created a tessellation pattern with my Illustrator file. So let's run through this one more time. I'm going to work with the pencil tool this time rather than the pen, just to show you that you can create kind of squiggle lines like this with the pencil tool. What we'll then do is click on the black arrow here to select it. You can see here that it's selected. I can then choose the type of item that I want to work with. Let's see what double glide looks like. We'll click From Paths. What this is going to do is going to create a tile from the paths. We're then going to create a lattice group. And if you want to, go ahead and check the Remove Mirror Line box. So now we have a lattice group. And what's really cool here is I can actually replicate the lattice, and I can choose again the options here where I can actually set it to the page and click OK, and it applies my design across the page. Now what you'll want to do is you will want to fill these colors in so that we have a black fill and maybe an outline on some of these. And to do that, we'll work with the direct selection tool, which is this open arrow in the toolbox. You'll click on the shape that you want to work with. So I've selected this one. And if I just toggle, right now I have a fill of nothing and a stroke of black. And if I click this little arrow, it reverses them, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go down and fill these so that I kind of create an opposing, kind of have to fiddle around here to get the right square in this particular instance, as you can see. And you can see here that as I do this, I'm basically creating the tessellation pattern, how everything interlocks, which is rather nice. And as you're doing this, of course, you want to make sure that you're saving your file, just in case Illustrator decides to crash on you, which can happen from time to time. And it's just important to save frequently. So I'll go to File, Save, just to be on the safe side here. It may ask you to I'm going to put mine on the desktop and just click Save AI, Illustrator file is fine. So that's how you create a tessellation with this little plugin.